guys, it is currently August 29th and we are on our way to the creek bottom to do some deer prep. This is basically the last I have to do. I just want to touch up some of this weeds. I already cut them once this summer in early July with the weed eater, and I just want to whack them down one more time as they're starting to have new growth. And I mean, they're probably going to grow up until, you know, all the way through September and October. I'm sure they'll keep growing a little bit, but I just am starting to replace my normal cams with cell cams this week. Been putting up a couple. I got 3 cell cams at this spot. It's really just a great funnel, especially for the rut. The deer just have to travel through here. And over the years, this spot has really gotten developed. All the farm fields are now subdivisions, so it's really concentrating these deer into this creek bottom. And I think every year it gets better and better. So we're just gonna weed whack her down one more time, and I'll kind of show you guys the setup. And we're probably gonna be sitting here opening day, so we'll see you in the woods. Making our way down here. Gotta walk like 50 yards through the grass here in the yard, in the backyard. And like I said before, the woods is only probably 75 yards wide. So we're gonna set the camera up here and start whacking away. We don't got too much, it's just a kind of a long shooting lane all the way to the creek here. But as you can see, not too much to do. Oh, we got a cell camera right there, and we got a blind here, which we sit in sometimes. So we'll set the camera up and start weed whacking. We are done. That was pretty easy. It was quick. Definitely helps that I already cut it once this year, and the first time I cut it I ran out of weed eater string, but luckily I had a blade with me. That just, it's harder to cut with a blade when you got that just grassier stuff. You really have to swing her, and it just doesn't cut as good as a string. The blade's really meant for your more woodier brush, a little thicker stem. But that went really well. I'll show you guys kind of the setup I got going here. All right, guys, first off, here's the blind that sits right on the edge of basically the backyard. We got some woods to the side of us that go behind us, otherwise it's all open. We got the cell camera right here. This is my first cell camera I'm running. And these deer will run right in, there's a trail right in here, they'll run in. Like I said before, the creek bottom's only like, in this area, it's like 50 to 70 yards wide, so it's a great pinch point. The woods really widens up on both sides of this, and these deer just run this creek, especially during the rut, just in general. But so last year I was sitting in an ash tree, and all the ash are dying in our area, and that blew down. So we are in a new ash tree. Unfortunately, there's literally just ash trees and buckthorn. It's real thick in here. But this ash tree is still alive, doing well. Probably not for long, but we hung some sticks up here, some hawk sticks, and we got a permanent saddle set up there. So I'm pretty excited about that. And the good thing is I can shoot kind of on both sides of me. As you can tell, I got a really good backdrop, so if a deer does walk behind me, I will be able to get a shot off if he's somewhat close. But if he's kind of closer to the blind, I won't be able to get a shot off. I didn't want to trim too much. I really wanted to be covered up there, which I'm pretty high, and I got that good backdrop of all that green, and these buckthorn leaves will stay on until mid-November, so I think we'll be good. And then My second camera is right here. Got a 3.0 in this tree. Last year, my stand's up here watching that creek that runs, the trail that runs right along the creek, and these deer would cut right behind me in the stand. I had quite a few nice buck encounters. There's a trail right in here they'll cut through. So I got a camera here just kind of covering that. And we'll show you where my third camera is, where these deer really like to run this trail, but it's really tough. I kind of go wherever they want in here. Sometimes they'll go in front of you, sometimes they'll go behind you, but I had a lot of good sits here last year. 2 years ago I shot a nice gun buck here out of the blind, and he was walking this trail right along the creek. But last year had some good encounters, just were either behind me or just couldn't get a shot, couldn't stop them. But this was the tree I was in last year. As you can tell, that snapped off like early November. But we got that third cell camera right here watching this trail, and they've been really running this trail. And I can cover this trail right along the creek from my saddle setup. So I'm pretty excited about the spot this year. I think it's much better than last year. I think we're gonna have more shot opportunities if these deer do come through here. Got quite a few nice ones on camera. A lot of nice bucks. Got a couple nice 8-pointers. I think 2 nice 10-pointers. One for sure. There's one 10-pointer that's been hanging around for quite a few years now. And he just never shows up in daylight, but he was actually in here like 7 days ago in the evening. But we just had a buck come through here at noon. It's like 2 p.m. right now, and he was hard horned. We got a couple bucks starting to shed their velvet here in Wisconsin, so I'm pretty excited about this season. The opener is September 13th, so a little over 2 weeks away, and we're either going to be sitting here or in a different spot down the road. But this spot is definitely going to be good. I think this year got high hopes. The past couple mornings have been really feeling like fall. We've had a cold front roll through here this week, and in Wisconsin the lows have been getting down in my area, low to mid 40s, and even up north in northern Wisconsin by our cabin they've seen 30s already. So pretty exciting. Hopefully opening day a cold front would roll through. That would be nice, but who knows, it could be 80+ degrees. But either way, we're gonna definitely try to pop a doe opening weekend. So we'll see you guys opening weekend, whether it be this spot or our other spot, kind of in town as well, and overlooking a nice food plot we planted. That's coming up really well. So we'll see you guys either in a tree stand or on our way to a tree stand. I'm probably gonna roll this video right into opening weekend, so stay tuned. Well guys, welcome back. We are finally in a tree. September 13th at 6:30 a.m. and we are set up in the saddle in this creek bottom, trying to whack a doe. We had some rainy conditions late last night, early this morning. It's 60 degrees right now. Everything's real wet, and this past week has been pretty warm, fairly average for this time of year, but pretty warm, especially since a week prior to this we had a huge cold front roll through here, and that really got the deer on their feet. But got a lot of nice deer in this creek bottom. Trying to whack a doe this morning. No big bucks have been consistent. The past 2 Saturdays we've had 2 8s in here in daylight in the evenings. Otherwise the does are kind of sporadic throughout here, and the most consistent activity we've had is 2 basket bucks that are in here like every day. But just trying to catch a doe coming back, working its way through here to go bed. We got bedding on both sides, and this is just a travel corridor. Hoping with this rain, it kind of has them laid on their feet this morning. So hopefully we can see some activity based on these conditions. That's what I'm hoping. We're just set up on this trail, on this creek bottom. They like to walk parallel with this creek down here, but unfortunately they also do like to just go wherever they want down here. It's only like a 75-yard wide area of woods, but they just come from all over. So we got kind of marginal winds, but it's a real light east, southeast wind, and hoping my thermals are rising. So hopefully whatever scent I had is kind of going above these deer. But we're gonna get settled in here, keep our eyes peeled. It's real thick in here, all this buckthorn. Everything's wet, so they're gonna get on us fast. But pretty excited, feels good to be in the tree. Overall, pretty good conditions for opening morning, I would say. Always got a level weather front, but it's supposed to get up to like almost 80 today. I don't know where I'm gonna sit in the evening, probably here, but I would like to sit over some food, but my other spot, there's just been no activity. Some goose hunters shooting some geese, but we're gonna get settled in here. Hopefully a doe comes by and we can whack her. Definitely excited. This is my 4th time ever sitting in a saddle, so I've never shot a deer in a saddle, so just pretty excited for this season. Ready to let an arrow fly. Stay tuned. Alright guys, well it's 8:44 a.m. Sun's getting higher in the sky. She's beating right on me. But honestly, just a beautiful morning. Just really soaked this one in. It was just perfect. I really enjoyed this sit. Saddle's super comfortable. I'm loving it. Unfortunately, no deer. I was hopeful we'd see some deer with this post-weather front. Maybe we'd see some movement from that, but at the same time, I knew there was a very good chance of us not seeing anything. But it felt good to get out. I'm excited. The season is upon us, and I'm here for it. So, not sure where I'm gonna sit tonight. I got a feeling I'm gonna end up coming back here, but be sitting on in the blind on the edge of the yard, overlooking this whole bottom. I really don't have any other deer at my other spot, unfortunately. To sit in the saddle like we were this morning. I have my saddle on currently. But as I was walking down here, I saw a deer in this tall grass right in front of us, right where we had to walk past. So I crouched behind the blind and snuck in here. And it never saw me. And it's just super thick in here. Probably took me 5 minutes to finally find it. It was kind of walking straight away from me. And then it turned It's kind of just milling around. I think it's still in front of us. Just like probably 50 yards away. I think it's a little buck. If I had a guess, I would say that. But it could be a doe too. But I'm just glad we saw that deer before we walked past him. And I'm glad it didn't see us. So, all my stuff's outside the blind because I thought he was going to keep walking right past the blind. I could get a shot. I quick knocked the arrow and everything. Got my trigger release on, but so all my gear's behind the blind here. What some of these younger bucks have been doing is they've been on their feet pretty early, even with these warmer temps, and then they kind of work their way through this woods, and then they come up in the yard. There's an apple tree dropping some red apples, so I think it looks like they've been going to the yard based on the trail cam pictures. Can't say for certain, but I can't see this deer. It's so thick. He's out there though, so we're gonna see what happens. Hopefully it's a doe, and hopefully we get a shot. Alright guys, so it's 5:50 p.m. and we just had that encounter with that velvet 6-pointer, which was pretty cool. I can't say I've ever had a velvet buck in front of me during the bow season, so that was a first. I think he was a 6-pointer, but he's a young deer, obviously. Super small body. But he came in right into 15 yards, just eating greens, just milling around, taking his time. So that was pretty cool. When I saw him in the back, he actually was walking that creek, and it looked like he was leaving, so I quick grabbed everything. So I was behind the blind and brought it in here. I'm just gonna sit in here the rest of the night. I'm glad I didn't try to go up and get in the saddle, because I know these deer have been just milling around in here based on camera pictures. But hey, that's the first deer encounter of the 2025 season, and it was a buck, so not bad. We just need a doe to do that. Probably got an hour and a half left of light. Not a huge fan of sitting in this blind. I can shoot a compound bull out of it. It's just that it gets so dark in here. I mean, it's already kind of dark, just based. I'm sure you guys can see that based on camera light. So it's just hard to see through your peep sight that those last 10 minutes of shooting light or so. But I definitely do not want to shoot a doe with a crossbow. Last year I did bring the crossbow in here a couple times, but that was after that 8-pointer. But if I'm going to shoot a doe, it's going to be with the compound. So we're going to get settled in here, and maybe we'll see some more deer. Stay tuned. Alright guys, it's almost 6 p.m. September 14th, and we are set up literally right alongside the house here, overlooking this apple tree. Just a little background information is why we're sitting here. That's the AC machine you can hear in the background. I have a garbage bin in front of me as cover. This is the kind of the original spot where these garbage bins say, the recycle and garbage bins. So I kind of pushed those out. It's actually garbage and recycling tomorrow, so I kind of pushed those out for the landowner, and then I kind of felt open in here. There's a bush right here, there's a bush right here. We got our shooting lane right out in front. We're probably 15-20 yards from the apple tree, but I brought this recycle bin back in to provide some cover so I'm not wide open in the front here. And then I broke off some buckthorn branches, kind of placed them in the ground a little bit just to break up my cover a little more, but I feel like we're pretty concealed. If you're wanting to know the whole background story, go watch the previous video, but basically opening day, yesterday, it's opening weekend for bow in Wisconsin. We're in a pretty urban area and a lot of development going around, especially over the past few years, subdivisions taking the place of ag fields, and these deer are just getting pushed down into this creek bottom every bit. And last night hunted the blind that's on the edge of the woods and yard. I did end up seeing a 3-point or a 5-pointer in velvet, and then as I was about to pack up, it was probably 7:20. About to open the door of the blind, and there's a bunch of deer back here, 5 deer, and 2 of them were nice 8-pointers, I believe, and then another one was a nice 10-pointer. Right underneath this apple tree, literally 20 yards from the house, 20 yards from where I parked my truck, and they've never ever done this in daylight, and the landowner's got a bunch of pictures of these deer in daylight underneath this apple tree. I made sure it was okay with her that I could sit right here. She gave me the green light, but it's just crazy. So if we can pull this off tonight, just gonna be unbelievable. Actually, I just talked to her before I sat out here. Just wanted to tell her where I was sitting, and told her I'm gonna be shooting towards the woods here. So, but this morning there was actually a couple 8-pointers, and she didn't say they were too big, but that makes me very optimistic. I was a little nervous yesterday because I actually had her. I texted the landowner and I was like, hey, as I was stuck in the blind, I was like, hey, can you kind of just come out here nonchalantly and get the deer to leave? So she turned the porch light on and she walked out, and they kind of they ran away, and they freaking ended up in this horse pasture out in front of me here, which is on the other side of this apple tree, and they were just standing there, and finally she clapped a little bit and they took off. None blew, but apparently there was deer back in here this morning, so that's very good. In daylight, she said, too, so very optimistic. Hopefully last night didn't mess things up too much, but if we can just pull this off, this is going to be unbelievable. Literally the driveway's right here. I'm sitting right up against the garage, but the garage is connected to the house, obviously. But just unreal seeing those deer last night, especially just those 3 nice bucks in general, just this close to the house in daylight. They were literally like walking between the barn and the house. I mean, it just felt unreal. Not something you see every day, at least in the spots I hunt. But we're gonna try to make it happen tonight. Pretty excited. It's 78 degrees out right now. It's pretty warm. The high today was like 81, and it did reach that, but the evenings have been cooling off. It feels nice. The bugs haven't been bad. I'm just really, really excited. I really don't know where these deer are coming from, and I asked her. She really doesn't know. I think they might come off right. There's some thick stuff right to the right of us, probably 15 yards away, so I think they might be poking out there. She also said they're poking out down here on the edge of the horse pasture and the barn. So, but hopefully we can see something coming before it gets here. and we should have a nice, I don't know, 20-yard shot. This apple tree is just full of apples. A lot of them are actually dropping already. I mean, they've been dropping since mid-August, it seems, based on the picture she was showing me. She's been showing me some pictures of just some big 8s and big 10s in velvet in here. Obviously that was late August. All the ones I saw last night, the bigger ones, were all shedded out. But pretty excited. There's plenty of apples on the ground. Hopefully we can make some of them tonight. If we see a deer, it would be cool. So pretty excited about the setup, honestly. Just something different. I've never done this before. We're getting real urban today, so stay tuned. Hopefully we get one. Nice 8-pointer. Literally poked out of the woods to my right-hand side at 30 yards. I thought he was going to come straight to this apple tree. And he walks away. I didn't see him walk away. I thought he was behind the garbage bin coming closer. And he walked the edge of that fence on the edge of the woods. The deer are definitely avoiding the area I'm hunting for some reason. I don't know if they don't like those cell cams or what, but here's another little buck doing the same thing. Little fork. Seems that they're purposely avoiding my cell cams. All right, guys, so we're out of there. Had a good hunt. Saw 3 deer, 2 bucks and that doe. That 8-pointer and fork were together. 8-pointer was first, popped out right at 30 yards. Kind of where I had a thought that they were gonna pop out. There's kind of like an old trail there that she used to cut through the woods, and it's just a path of least resistance. Nothing really kind of grows in there anymore, it seems. And so they're using that, and that's where they both popped out, probably both at 30 yards, and then they just walked directly towards the backyard and then cut across along that fence and wood line back there. Both did the exact same thing. I thought for sure they were going to come to the apple tree, but that never happened. But it definitely seems like the way those deer just entered the yard and entered into the woods again, they were just avoiding my cell cams for some reason. And then literally at like 7:20, with a couple minutes of shooting line left, we had that doe come out and I was gonna whack her. She had her come in, she was kind of like behind the garbage bin, so I couldn't have a shot. And then she finally cleared that and went to go draw back as she was looking away, and she turned as soon as I started doing that, her head, and she saw me. I paused and she just looked at me, and then she kind of turned around and went back to the tree line and then went into the woods. Good hunt though. Definitely learned where these deer are coming in for the apples, which is kind of what I thought, like I said, and probably an ideal spot. But we're going to be hunting there the rest of the week. We just have to. So pretty excited about that. I do want to modify my exit because this apple tree is like right offset of the driveway. The driveway's probably like 20 yards, and the way the deer are entering that apple tree is they can see the whole driveway, so it just sucks that they're going to see me leave, you know, around this time every night. So I think I'm gonna modify that. She's got like a little loop in her driveway, kind of park in that loop, which is behind her house. Maybe that'll appear more natural. But it's a good hunt though, so